Talked about this earlier today, that the report that the Vikings were expecting a decision to be made by Kirk Cousins sometime this evening as far as whether or not he's going to test the open market in free agency. Well, according to Tom Pelissero, that decision has been made. Kirk, he's going to see what's out there for him. And also, according to Pelissero, it's not just the Falcons that are going to be involved. Talking about teams outside of Minnesota. The Broncos are also expected to pursue Kirk Cousins, to which I say, great. The more teams, the better. The more organizations that you can get involved in this freak show, the more of an opportunity that creates to generate a bidding war that's going to ultimately be too rich for the Vikings' blood. You think about the resources at quarterback in free agency, it's getting thin. Baker Mayfield, he's going to re-sign with Tampa. If Russell Wilson signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Vegas Raiders, they may want to get involved. All of a sudden, it's going to be a tug of war battle. Teams are going to get desperate. And I thought that was going to be the end of it. As far as, all right, we get one step closer to the Kirk Cousins era in Minnesota being over with. All right, they've communicated with each other. Kirk, he's going to test the open market. However, plot twist, it doesn't end there. Because according to Diana Rossini, she tweeted out, quote, "The Vikings are having internal conversations about their offer to Kirk Cousins. They haven't been informed by Cousins' camp about his decision per sources. There's a feeling around the team that the quarterback wants to stay a Viking, but this will come down to structure of the deal." So I have two takeaways from this. The first being they haven't been informed by Cousins' camp about his decision, talking about the Vikings. And I understand if your initial takeaway, if your initial reaction seeing Rossini's report is maybe Tom Pelissero was a bit off on his report saying that a decision has been made by Cousins. He's going to test the open market. I can understand if that's your thought, but I'm taking this as apparently there's a bigger gap between the two parties than initially thought. That Cousins may be frustrated with the Vikings to say, you know what, screw this. I'm done talking with you. I'm going to test the open market. We're going to let Pelissero know. Or maybe it's a negotiation ploy by Cousins. He's the ultimate businessman. But I take it as we're just going to test the open market. We're going to let everyone else know but you. You're going to find out, if you're the Vikings, about my decision through the public, just like everybody else. The second takeaway I have from Rossini's report is that the Vikings are having internal conversations about their offer to Kirk Cousins. This implies to me that there's a bit of a conundrum, some conflict, panic, if you will, within the Vikings brass as far as the contract structure that Rossini's talking about, as far as should we raise the bar on that initial offer that we gave to Kirk Cousins and his camp, that evidently the Vikings are still trying to find a way to keep him in Minnesota. It wasn't just, all right, this is the line we're drawing in the sand. You either get with it or you don't. But, oh, man, he's testing free agency. Oh, what are we going to do? Let's get together and huddle up and pull an all-nighter until we can figure this out. Which, man, when you talk about players that have zero impact on your team's ability to win, before Kirk Cousins, the Vikings, they were always middle of the pack in the league, 8-8. Or now 8-9, 9-8, maybe make the playoffs every 2 or 3 years, one and done, and you're finishing off in the middle of the draft order. You're not great. You're not horrible as well. You're just stuck in the center. After Kirk Cousins, it's the same. Zero impact of a player. For someone like that to cause this level of chaos is truly remarkable. I'm not even hating on the guy. I'm impressed. This is going to drag on, I think, longer than initially thought. At least for me anyway, I was expecting, all right, tomorrow, Monday, by noon, maybe a couple of hours after that, he's going to go to the Falcons. But now with the Vikings. And I could be wrong. Whatever your thoughts are on Rossini's report, because there's a whole plot twist going on here. Whatever your takes are, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. But with this whole circus show happening, the Vikings, I think, are going to get more involved than I anticipated. I think this is going to go beyond Monday. They have to make a decision by, I believe, Wednesday before that dead cap hit becomes official, $28.5 million. And of course, if that's the case, you're not going to bring back Kirk Cousins. But I think this is going to drag on longer than Monday. It's going to go into, I think, Tuesday afternoon, in the evening. I'm not sure. But I'm ready for this to be over with. And the fact that the Vikings are having internal conversations. Why else would you have internal conversations about the contract offer to Kirk Cousins? Unless there were some disagreements there. If there should be no conversations at all. Hey, go to sleep. You deserve it. You earned it. But what? I need other teams, Falcons, Broncos, Raiders, I need you to get involved as well. I need other teams to save the Vikings from themselves. Because the more that the Vikings have a chance to come back and say, no, we're sorry. We want you back, Kirk. And we'll pay you $40 million a year, even though we can spend that money elsewhere, whether it's 2 or 3 other players that can make more of an impact on our team's success than you have. No, we want you back. Stuck in no man's land. I need some organization, anybody, I don't care, to save the Vikings from themselves. This is getting so ridiculous. Only Kirk Cousins could create this type of chaos.